You have to pardon me, everyone. I had a bit of a late start. So I just need to finish up real quick and then we will get started. I'll only take like a couple of minutes, 3 at the most. Hang tight, peoples. All right. Now we are ready to go. So I say to all of you, apologies for taking so long. I had a little bit of a late lunch, and I had to finish eating and I had to go ahead and get dressed up. I have a different type of shirt on, which means the top part of it, the top button. Let me actually loosen this up because actually kind of a little bit tight. Well, actually, you know what? No, it's fine. It's fine. I gotta look professional in front of all of you. Hello, Karma. and D-Train. So now we're ready to talk about the chapters that were released in May. So with that being said, yo, peoples! Whew, sweet tea is good sometimes when it's cold. Yo, peoples! Kyushu92 here, and welcome back to yet another, reflection stream over the chapters we got in One Piece in the month of May. In the month of May. I can't find my words. My apologies for that. We got 3 chapters, as it tends to be the norm for us. And they were chapters 1012, 13, and 14, with the most recent chapter being released yesterday, of which we all reacted to. So let's go ahead and get started. Good to see everyone here. And since we're reflecting on these chapters, I'll go ahead and have this off to the side, have chat off to the side, so we all can talk about the chapters that we got in May and where we think the story for One Piece is going to go from here. So let's start off with the one that was released first in this month, chapter 1012, specifically titled Itch. Now here is where the rest of the Akazaya are running through the entire... They're all running through the palace right now. And that's when they start to splinter off a little bit. Izo is wondering if Kiku's arm is fine. And Kiku says, why would a samurai ask that question? It's merely an itch until my very life has expended. No worse than the itch this one felt in the heart on the day you left for good. And as they're running through there, Kinemon is saying, at this point, it's an all-out melee. We win or we die. I'm certain we need all the help we can get. I should be more than enough to protect Lord Momonosuke on my own. The rest of you scatter and join the fight. And that's when everyone starts to splinter off. Kawamatsu says, all right. And then Kiku says, let this one vanquish Kanjiro for good this time. We'll touch on that when we get to the most recent chapter. Shishilian is there. And Barriere is there as well. How many chapters we got this month? We got 3 chapters this month, Karma. I feel like 3 chapters a month is starting to become the norm, and that's with breaks. With breaks, we got 3 chapters. Without breaks, I still think we get around about 3 chapters. Actually, we get a break every month, don't we? I think we get a break every single month. But we got 3 chapters this month, Karma. And there's Barriere and Shishilian wondering where, with a Neko wondering where they're off to. And Kawamatsu saying, Kinemon, Cat, we will head elsewhere. And Neko says, yeah, I'll do the same. And Kinemon and Kikunojo continue going forward. Right behind you. What's that? Pedro's dead. And that's when Barriere and Shishilian inform Nekomamushi that Pedro died during the events of Whole Cake Island. Yes, it happened in Big Mom's territory. Luffy's crew said it was his sacrifice that enabled them to get here. Ah, I see, but the one who caused Pedro's death is here on this island, says Barriere, the part of the little monkey that's part of the Mink Recon Squad. I saw Carrot and Wanda fighting him, but their anger was getting the best of them. That's why I had to rush back to warn Commander Shishilian. Well done, Pedro, says Nekomamushi. You died for a noble cause, and the opportunity to avenge you is on this island. And with that, Nekomamushi goes off on his own to find out where Pedro's Pedro is, because that's the person he's running in. He wants to find. Then we cut to the first floor crawl space, where Yamato, Shinobu, and Momonosuke are. Just watch out for the Marys. They're looking for the both of us together, Momonosuke, so I'm going to be a decoy. Ogata-san, welcome to the stream. We are currently on chapter 1012. We still have 1013 and 14 to go through, but we'll touch on that as we go, and we'll talk about the chapters and what it means for the story going forward, including things I may have missed yesterday that someone brought up. There's specifically one thing that I believe Kohagen brought up during my reaction yesterday of yesterday's chapter that I want to bring up once we get to that specific chapter. So, Nekomamushi jumps off on his own. We see Yamato explaining that she's going to be a decoy in order to fool everyone into thinking that both her and Momonosuke are together. And she pulls out a little fake doll saying, this is you, see? You're not hiding the fact that you're just itching to go fight, says Momonosuke. Because Yamato really, really wants to go fight, but she's just using this as an excuse to go off on her own. It's alright, Yamato, we've already made contact with Master Keen, says Shinobu. He's in your hands now, Shinobu. Oh, and is Luffy alright, Momonosuke? He is the same as earlier, weakened but still well. However, there are only 2 voices now. And Yamato is wondering what he meant by that. And then Yamato says, one-on-one. I have to hurry. Now, mind you, I didn't pay her saying one-on-one any mind until yesterday. But now I understand that she's basically echoing what Karma has been saying all this time. And she's just echoing the one thing everyone says when it comes to Kaido facing off against someone. When Momonosuke says there are only 2 voices now, Yamato realizes one-on-one. Oh wait, is Kaido having a one-on-one fight? I have to hurry, because if someone's having a one-on-one fight with Kaido, he's going to win, so I need to hurry where Luffy is. Makes sense since Neko didn't know about Pedro dying since he was busy recruiting Marco back on Whitebeard's home island. Exactly. I feel like the chapters are going kind of slow story-wise. They are. But since there are so many fights, you can't really rush things or the fans will be disappointed. Doesn't mean the chapters are bad, though. Exactly. I feel like the narrative itself is not exactly being pushed forward at the same speed these fights are going, but that's okay. Because if we push the narrative and rush the fights, then it takes away from the overall impact of the characters involved in said fights. So, I'm actually okay. I'm fine with these chapters being more fight-focused rather than, no fighting and it's just nothing but exposition and narrative being pushed forward. So, I'm actually happy that these chapters have actually gone that route. And I'm glad Oda is not rushing these fights either in order to get back to the story, because then it'll take away from, the characters who are actually fighting. So the pacing, story pacing has slowed a little bit, but the fight pacing has been steady so far. That's just how I believe. And as Yamato leaves, Momonosuke stays behind and starts reading his journal with Shinobu peeping in on what Oden wrote. Then we cut to the second floor with Sanji holding Zoro, who he has bound up completely in bandages. With the Beast Pirate steadily trying to fight Sanji, but he's not letting anyone. He's not letting anyone get near him. And everyone is saying, that might be the pirate hunter Zoro in there. What? So he's a jackpot carrying a jackpot. And then Zoro's all like, hey, watch what you call me. And of course, since his body is in a state where he can no longer fight for the rest of the arc, Sanji's all like, you're making this much worse, Mosshead. And then we cut to a couple of minutes earlier where both Zoro, Law, and Zeus get shambled into the performance hall, where Sanji catches the both of them while Zeus goes off to try and find Big Mom. And Sanji tries to keep Zeus from going anywhere, saying, Zeus, what about Nami? And he stops for a second and then immediately starts going off to where Big Mom is, trying to find her. And Sanji starts lamenting about why couldn't the people he have caught in his arms be girls? With Law just casually sitting up on his arm like, just like it ain't nothing. The equilibrium with Law is crazy in this one panel right here. Why couldn't it be girls? Where did you two come from anyway? Good timing, Blackleg. And Law just starts explaining that he's got 20 or 30 broken bones. Give him splints, keep his head facing up, and make sure he's conscious and breathing. Hey, at least explain first. Oh, so Sanji says, hey, at least explain first. Law explains what's going on with Zoro, and Sanji's all like, I wasn't asking about him. What's the commotion over there, Big Mom? And then Law just goes off on his own. I'm not a doctor, man. I don't have time to fix him up. So, seeing as how Sanji's not an expert on, Sanji's doctoring, he just bounds up Zoro and a whole bunch of bandages and a big old bandage cross, a body cast cross. Who are you fighting to get this messed up? Kaido, Big Mom. Makes sense. Surprised you found the rooftop. I trust Luffy's okay up there? It seems like he figured out something. He's gonna win. Looking back at this chapter right now, they are so sure of their captain. I already knew he would. Sanji as well. The hope that they have in their captain is so infallible, even when other moments prove otherwise. Anyway, where should I go to set you down? And then Zoro's asleep, and he's all like, no, don't fall asleep. Then we see Kawamatsu and Izo in the same area where Sanji and Zoro are. Sangoro! Oh, Kappa, you're alright? I'm glad. Huh? But I was just going to help Momonosuke. Kinemon is already on his way there. He'll take care of it. If you want to help, go to the performance floor. And Zoro saying, if you want to help, go to the performance floor. And immediately falls asleep. Don't give orders and then fall asleep! Let's go. We're losing valuable manpower left and right. And then we cut on the same floor with Big Mom having already bodied page 1 using, Haki. Was it you? Did you burn down Okobori town? And everyone, all the other Beast Pirates are looking on like, page 1! Because page 1's lower body is the only thing sticking out of the floor right now. Big Mom bodied this man. Even in his Zoan form that is supposed to give him strength and increased durability, he's not moving. He's completely out of the picture. And then Ulti runs in saying, you're going to regret that ever so much. And she runs. Ulti runs at Big Mom. And of course, Usopp and Nami are still there along with Tama. And they're all like, that's it, we can have Big Mom take her out too. She's like a goddess all of a sudden. It's her, Olin. She's the one who did the thing that made you sad, whatever it was. And it doesn't work, because Nami's trying to play ends against the middle. She's trying to pit both Ulti and Big Mom against one another, but they still want to kill her. So her antics are not exactly working in her favor. I might as well sit this way. Pipe down, Straw Hats. You're next after I'm done with her. Ulti, get her, girl. Come on, let's take out Big Mom together. Pipe down after that, old hag. You'll be next. So, seeing as how her trying to pit ends against the middle, it's not working. Ends against each other, not the middle. Ends against each other. Kumachio starts running away. And before Kumachio can actually get away far enough, she rebounds and ricochets off the wall and uses Ulti Mortar to basically just take Kumachio out of the fight. She hits Kumachio in the side directly using her hybrid form and causes blood to shoot out of his mouth and nose. And that completely causes all of them to topple over and blood to start coming out of Kumachio. Did that break a few bones? Then it's time to put you out of your misery. And Tama is crying over Kumachio, because there's even a moment where Ulti kicks Kumachio in his side. I didn't even notice this when I read through this before. Just read the words and I paid attention to the imaging here a little bit. But she kicks Kumachio while he's down. And Tama saying, stop it, Kumachio's my friend. And then Tama gets slapped away by Ulti, who tells her to shut up. And this surprises Nami, and this surprises Big Mom as well. Nami, take Tama and run. We gotta go. And Nami's holding Tama, and then Big Mom furiously starts to make her way towards Ulti, saying, did I just see you hit my friend, little girl? And, Ulti, having no chill, regardless of who's talking to her, says, so what? You just smashed my little brother. And then before she can say anything, she gets immediately zapped and electrocuted by Nami, saying, who said you could hit Tama? And Usopp, who's surprised at this, says, "What? Come on, Nami, we gotta get out of here." "I don't think I can do that. She hit a child. I'm gonna stay here and crush her." So this was the moment where Nami got a little bit of courage for herself, especially when it was someone as close to her as Tama. She resolved to take out Ulti. Not even paying attention that Big Mom is still there. Not even paying attention to the fact that Big Mom still wants to take out all of the Straw Hats. Her mindset was steadfast on Ulti. So, that is the end of chapter 112. Let's move on to the next one. It won't even let me see the other one. There we go. Good website. All right, moving on to chapter 1013, called Anarchy in the BM. In parentheses, not parentheses, but in brackets, Big Mom. So if we go to the next page here, they really rely on you to use the arrows in order to go back and forth a little bit. It shows Ulti laying on the ground after being electrocuted by Nami, and Big Mom standing behind them. And Usopp saying, "Nami, what are you thinking? We gotta go. She's gonna get up again, and Big Mom's right behind us. How could you possibly expect to win?" And Usopp is holding Tama, who got hit hard enough that she's kind of bleeding on the side of her face there. "Hey, Tama, hang in there, kid." "Oh, that looks vicious." "She's going to chase after us either way, but the main thing is she deserves what's coming to her." And Big Mom is concerned about Tama, saying, "Oh, Tama, are you still alive?" And Nami starts charging up her climb attack here. "So you finally decided to stay and fight?" says Ulti. "Look at her twirling her baton." You're gonna fight Lady Ulti with cheerleading tricks. And she tries to hit, and Nami tries to hit Ulti with Tornado Tempo, but Ulti, with her blinding speed, jumps out of the way and grabs Nami. And then she attempts to, she then says, "There, you can't get away. Understand what happens now? I can finally pulverize your skull." And Nami, seeing as how she's not strong enough to get out of the grip of a zone user, is scared of what Ulti is about to do to her. But then we see Big Mom come in and save Nami by combining Napoleon, Prometheus, Hera, combining them all of her homies into a new attack called Maser Cannon. Now, if we go to the specifics of Maser Cannon, hey CJ, and hey Shonen Sensei, good to see you guys here as always. Welcome back to yet another One Piece reflection stream. Napoleon. Okay, Blade, Maser Cannon. All right, so the specifics of Maser Cannon is it is a combined attack with his fellow special homies Prometheus and Hera. The three homies assembled together with Napoleon's Gladius blade piercing through Prometheus at its base and Hera at its tip. And Prometheus and Hera combine their energies, forming several tendrils of lightning and fire that create a large circular ring in between them. Then, by swinging Napoleon, Big Mom unleashes the energies in the form of a thin, highly concentrated beam that can pierce through flesh in an instant and culminates in a large explosion. Just think of basically any laser attack by Kizaru. That's basically what Big Mom is capable of doing right now. It was first used against Ulti, easily piercing through her tough, scaly skin. Now, mind you, she is a Zoan, and Zoans always have the highest durability of any Devil Fruit user. So, when you, let me see here. User skulls goes thicker. The user's transformation drastically boosts their endurance and speed of recovery, a characteristic trait of dinosaur Zoans. After Ulti has been knocked out by Yamato's Armament Haki, a surprise attack hitting her head, Ulti was quick to regain her consciousness, seemingly unaffected beside bleeding from the mouth. Another time, Ulti took a direct hit from Nami's Thunderlance Tempo, the lightning bolt piercing her abdomen but retained consciousness, only falling to the ground in pain. Nami, in said instance, mentioned how much a stronger lightning was necessary to put down Ulti. And this is the moment where that happened with Big Mom and her Maser Cannon. It was first used against Ulti, easily piercing through her tough, scaly skin and immediately knocking her unconscious despite her superhuman durability. So there's that stronger lightning that Nami was hoping for when Nami hit her with that Thunderlance tempo a couple of chapters ago. A maser is a device that produces coherent electromagnetic waves, especially microwaves, through amplification by stimulated emission. And it's also a reference to the Maser Cannon, a weapon in the Godzilla film franchise as well. But Big Mom pretty much just takes out Ulti with this mini Death Star laser that also blows up a massive portion of the area behind her, completely engulfing the Beast Pirates that were spectating this entire fight. And Prometheus is enjoying the whole situation, saying, "Yeah, we did it, Mama. The combo attack was a success. Big Mom actually blasted Lady Ulti. It's what you get for hurting Tama. Hey, weren't we supposed to be in an alliance with her?" And it just shows Ulti, who's also bleeding from her mouth, through her little, I want to call it a doily mask, because that's what it looks like. One of those little doilies. You know, you ever been to an old person's house, and they have these little cloths sitting up either on the fireplace or on their tables, and it looks like it was handmade and stitched, and like stuff that they would have at, British tea parties with and put their cups on. That's what she has over her face, but she's bleeding through it. So, and Ulti is pretty much out of the fight since she's unconscious right now. This is crazy right now, but at least we're alive. Come on, Nami, let's go. And then Nami, Usopp, and Tama both run off. And as they're running off, Nami notices Zeus. And he's seeing how all the other homies are treating Hera versus how they treated him. And Nami is now realizing that, hey, that new cloud is not Zeus. So who's that other cloud? Who's the other cloud? Other lightning cloud. And Prometheus just has absolutely no chill, and neither does Napoleon, as they berate Zeus as he's listening in the background. Wow, we make a really great team, huh? We could have never done this attack with stupid Zeus. No, it's because we were so good in tune with. No, it's because you were so in tune with me, right, Hera? Don't get full of yourselves, silly boys. I was only obeying Mama. You know you're here because I asked Mama for a girlfriend. So, and here's the thing. Hera is not there for anyone but Big Mom. She does not care about Prometheus. She does not care about Napoleon. Only the orders from Big Mom. That is where her loyalty is. She does not care about what they think or anything, or even the fact that Prometheus asked Big Mom to create Hera so that he could have a girlfriend. She's not interested in the dude. He is in permanent homie friend zone. But going forward from here, Zeus is all like it's seeing all this and he's crying. And then Big Mom notices, and Zeus notices Nami, happy to see her. And Nami just like shoots him down. Shoots him down and ignores him, and he gets sad again. Then Big Mom sees Zeus, says, "There you are, Zeus. Oh, Mama, so sorry I'm late. Looks like we have a new member. We'll be so tough as a foursome now." And he, nervously is laughing, and Big Mom says, "Wrong, Zeus. I don't need you anymore." This is when Zeus officially no longer became one of her top homies. This is when Big Mom officially announced that you're no longer useful to me. And what does Big Mom do in order to send Zeus off? Well, just have one of her other homies just eat Zeus and consume his soul so that they can become stronger. So yeah, Big Mom just says, "Hera, go and eat Zeus. His soul will make you even stronger." "Gladly, Mama." And then Hera just immediately starts eating Zeus, while Zeus is crying his heart out, just pleading for Mama to let him live, saying, I'm sorry, I always mess up. If you don't want me around, I'll go someplace else." He just wants to leave now. But Big Mom ain't hearing it. She sees that he's better off dead as nourishment for Hera than him just going someplace else. She says that would make you nothing but a soul thief, Zeus. If you truly feel sorry, you'll let her eat you up and become newfound strength. And Zeus is just crying over this fact. And then Big Mom tries to lean in where Tama is, but everyone, Usopp is running away with Tama, and she's all like, "Wow, what happened? Where are you taking Tama?" And she just picks up Tama and holds her and sets her off to the side. Big Mom, this will be dangerous, Tama, so let's put you somewhere else. And she just takes Tama and puts her away from them as she prepares to kill both Usopp and Nami. And then Zeus, seeing Nami and the rest of them running off, he says, "I'm sorry for trying to kill you earlier. I'm a coward. I couldn't disobey Mama. I was trying to save myself, so I betrayed you after you were so nice to me. I'm just a sniveling, no-good coward. I don't care. I told you we'll never be friends." And then Nami says, "I don't care. I told you we'll never be friends again." And then Zeus says, "I know that, but now they won't take me back here either. I'm all alone in the world. They're going to kill me. I just don't want to die knowing everyone hates me. It's fine if you don't forgive me. Just watch. I'm going to rebel for the first and last time. At least I can make it up to one person as I die. Run for safety, Nami. This is how I want to be remembered." And then Nami says, "Zeus," as Big Mom catches him and just snuffs out. He wanted to go out. Zeus wanted to go out in a big old blaze of glory. He wanted to go out on a high note. But Big Mom just catches him. He runs out of energy. And what's left of Zeus gets consumed by not only Hera, and while Nami tries to use her climb attack to feed Zeus and give him some energy back, Hera catches it and consumes both Zeus and the black balls that come out of her climb attack. And that's when Hera says, "Oh, the power is rippling through me." And they all see that Hera where Zeus is gone. Zeus is no more. He's been eaten by Hera, and now Hera is stronger because of eating him. And then it shows Tama, who's run up to Usopp and Nami saying, "Uso Hachi, oh Nami, we gotta run." So now, let's just talk about this for a moment. Tama got slapped away by a Zoan user. And though she was down for a little bit, she didn't waste any time getting back up and getting back on her feet again in order to get Usopp and Nami out of there. So she survived being slapped by a Zoan user in their Zoan form. And she's only a kid. So Tama's got a little bit of a durability side of her as well. So who knows? If Ace was still around and we saw, Tama actually grow up to be like a Kunoichi like she wanted to and join Aces on his crew, who knows how strong she would have become. I know this is just like a small minor thing, but you have to be strong in order to take a hit from a Zoan user. So no more power-ups for Nami. For the foreseeable future, it would appear so. I mean, with Zeus being eaten by Hera, and Hera being a homie that only follows Mama to the absolute letter, Zeus becoming a power-up from Nami is only a power fantasy people are going to be able to have in either, fan fiction or playing as Nami in One Piece Pirate Warriors 4. And Big Mom sees Tama and the rest of them running away, saying, "Oh, Tama, why are you running away from me? I hate it when people leave me. It means I have to kill them." And that's when Big Mom kind of gives into a rage and prepares to, crush everyone. Not just Nami and Usopp, but Tama as well. But before she can do that, a big metallic hand comes out from the distance, and it is Kid, who uses Punk Gibson with one hand to grab her sword, but also uses that same hand to pile drive her into the ground. And they're looking as Big Mom was toppled over by this attack. She shakes herself up and gets up and just says, "Kid." And Kid says, "Get lost, Straw Hats. She's mine." And then everyone is saying, "Captain Kid!" And both Usopp and Nami are crying that they've been saved from Big Mom and they get to run away again. But here is the last panel where the big tagline of if it's a one-on-one fight, Kaido will win rings even more true than it has literally every single time Kaido has ever been in a fight. We cut to the rooftop on the Skull Dome, and this is the last panel for chapter 1013. And Kaido is saying the outcome was obvious. You gained a powerful weapon and let it go to your head, boy. Human beings don't give up hope, so they can't give up. Human beings don't give up hope. No, they can't give up hope. That's the problem. It's been a long time since I got worked up like this. I failed. I should have simply cut off your head. I simply should have cut your head off and announced my victory to everyone. Because now they'll keep believing that you're going to win, won't they? And it shows the last panel with Luffy, who's unconscious, being seen falling from the island of Onigashima. Now remember, Onigashima is floating through the air. Kaido beat Luffy again and threw him off of Onigashima. If it's a one-on-one fight, Kaido will win. And this is something that has been resonating with Karma ever since we've seen Kaido get into these serious fights. Now, like I said before, I kept going back and forth with Karma in previous conversations, thinking, well, Luffy's the main character. He's going to figure out a way to beat Kaido. But this is just cementing the fact that Kaido is just one of those people that you simply cannot beat by yourself. There's only a couple of people who were able to go up against Kaido, and Shanks is currently the only one still alive who can actually match him in strength. I mean, Kaido pretty much confirmed this for us. I don't blame Big Mom letting Zeus run wild. Just makes no sense when she could just take her soul back. I mean, it makes perfect sense. Big Mom is not a wasteful person. She's not going to let a portion of her soul just... She's not going to let just a portion of her own soul just run rampant throughout the world or let other people other than her use it. She's not going to do that. India almost banned Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. This is legit news. I haven't really been keeping up with it. My heart goes out to all the people in India that this is, keeping them from doing. I mean... I really hope things work out for people over there. Let me just be honest when I say that. So that they don't get locked out of, things that some might see as a way to allow them to interact with other people and things like that. So I really hope things work out for people over in India. I really do. I really hope Kid actually makes mechanical animals like he did in that cover story. That bird he made reminds me of Clockwork from the Sly Cooper games. That's a game that needs a remake. Jak and Daxter needs like a next-gen game. Sly Cooper needs one. Don't we need one to continue off of Thieves in Time? Because didn't Sly go back in time at the end of that game? And it was just left in the air like, well, I'm pretty sure we'll see Sly again. And he's just traveling through time. I think that was the last bit of the story. That's what I want to say. So I really hope we get a Sly Cooper game or a Jak and Daxter game somewhere in the future. There's a lot of games that I can talk to you guys about that I want to see made into the future, but for some it may just be a pipe dream. But with this whole thing of Kaido just beating Luffy again, sending him tumbling off of Onigashima, it just confirms that Kaido is just beyond powerful. So let me just look this up real quick so we can just get a scope of what Luffy has been fighting against this entire time in the hopes of beating and yet has not been successful in beating. Okay, so let's just talk about how strong Kaido is. Just in word form. We've seen how powerful he is, but let's just acknowledge this right now. As one of the four emperors, and I'm reading from his page, as one of the four emperors, Kaido is one of the four strongest pirates alive, renowned as the strongest creature. Just want to remind y'all that I've been knew Luffy can't win. Yeah, that's the thing. Karma's been right this whole time, and I haven't paid it any attention until this one chapter. Until chapter 1013. Until I saw the end of it. So, ending narration of Kaido's intro is, people often say if it's one-on-one, Kaido will win. On land, sea, and air, among all living things, he is a pirate who is known as the strongest creature. Notably, he has a bounty of 4,611,100,000, which is the highest known bounty of any pirate currently alive and the third highest in history, surpassed only by the bounties of the late Whitebeard and Goldie Roger. As the Beast Pirates Governor General, Kaido has authority over a massive 20,000 strong pirate organization, and due to his alliance with Orochi, he and his crew enjoy authority over and cooperation with thousands of Wano samurai forces serving Orochi. Kaido attempted to take Whitebeard's life, something very few would dare, and subsequently had an encounter with Shanks, along with clashing against Big Mom 2 years later. The five elders mentioned Kaido as one of the few people able to stop Blackbeard. His strength was also recognized by his fellow Emperor Big Mom, who could not fathom the idea of Monkey D. Luffy defeating him. When Big Mom says, "Oh, you're never gonna beat Kaido. You're never gonna beat him. You may try and take me on, but you're never gonna beat that thing." She specifically called him Thing. According to Trafalgar Law, Kaido could easily kill Don Quixote Doflamingo, a world-famous, extremely powerful pirate in his own right. Doflamingo himself, despite his normally always retained fearlessness, was shown visibly distressed at the prospect of angering Kaido. Additionally, Law speculated that his own crew and the Straw Hats allied together would only have a roughly 30% chance of bringing him down. Though the statement is questionable, seeing as at that time Law was not serious about fighting him. Kaido defeated two other members of the Worst Generation, Eustace Kid and Killer, along with the rest of their crew with seemingly no issue, and refused to take Law and Luffy's alliance seriously, regardless of their victory over Doflamingo, viewing defeating a warlord of the sea as nothing special. Kaido's confidence was later proven to be warranted when he defeated Luffy with a single blow. Overall, Kaido has been said to have only lost 7 battles in his lifetime, and has only been injured twice. As stated during his introduction, people consider it a certainty for Kaido to win in any one-on-one battle he takes part in, and even most groups and armies have little ability to take him down. When the daimyos rebelled, Kaido crushed them, and when hundreds of samurai went to Onigashima to attack Kaido 10 years ago, they were all killed. Before the fight on the rooftop on Onigashima even began, Kaido was convinced that only a small handful of people, at the time not including fellow Emperor Big Mom, were actually capable of fighting him seriously. And what these people are: Odin, Whitebeard, Shanks, Roger, and Rocks. Those are the only handful of people, not including Big Mom, were actually capable of fighting him seriously. During his fight against the Red Scabbards at Onigashima, Kaido was having difficulties dealing with the Scabbards immediately in his dragon form, but easily overpowered them all while in his human form, including the two Mink Kings, Inuarashi and Nekomamushi, whose strength both roughly rivals that of one of Kaido's top men, Jack, and who both at the time were in their Sulong forms. Kaido also took on the Gecko Pirates 23 years ago and slaughtered all of them except for their captain, Gecko Moria. Similar to the other 4 Emperor's members, Kaido has many underlings and other pirate crews allied with him, is able to claim self-governing islands as his own territories. With Caesar and Doflamingo as his associates, Kaido has created an army of over 500 artificial Zoan-type devil fruit users known as the Gifters. Physical capabilities. Befitting his bulk, Kaido is legendary for his supreme physical power as the strongest creature in the world. He is capable of swinging his kanabo hard enough to send a normal-sized person flying into the distance in one blow, and he broke past the tremendous defensive power of Luffy's Gear 4th with great ease. He once sunk 9 enormous prison ships single-handedly. Kaido possesses nigh indestructible durability even without using Armament Haki. He took multiple powerful hits from Luffy's Gear 3rd while in his dragon form, and transformed back into his human form after being pummeled into the ground, and proceeded to receive a barrage of Gear 4th hits that were even more powerful. Yet he felt nothing more than annoyance, received no injuries, and was able to quickly get back up and counteract without issue. This all changed once Luffy was able to improve his own Armament Haki from his training while in Udon, which was first seen when he injured Kaido with his newest Gear 3rd technique, which used advanced grade Armament Haki. Kaido also clashed with Big Mom continuously for 1 to 3 days and emerged without any injuries or signs of fatigue, showing an incredible amount of stamina. While the Red Scabbards were able to accomplish the rare feat of drawing blood from him with their swords and attacks, these wounds were shown to have very little, if any, effect on him. He could withstand having his own immensely destructive Bolo Brevse redirected at him by Raizo's Maki Maki no Mi, as well as assaults from Nekomamushi and Inuarashi Sulong enhanced attacks, Kawamatsu's Amanogawa, Izo's Dangiririgan, and Kikunojo's Zansetsugama, ultimately requiring Kinemon, Denjiro, Inuarashi, and Ashura to focus and coordinate their Togen Totsuka attacks together at his scar to finally inflict significant damage. However, Kaido himself stated that the injuries were still shallow in comparison to when Oden inflicted him with a massive scar. This durability has given Kaido the reputation of being unable to die. He has been caught and tortured 18 times, and people as powerful as the Marines and other emperors have attempted to execute him 40 times, only to fail as Kaido survived every single attempt because every single execution weapon broke when being used on him. Most notably, Kaido has jumped from 10,000 meters from the sky onto the ground, creating a massive shockwave strong enough to sink a large ship nearby, and emerged only with a headache. It has even become a hobby of him to attempt suicide only for it to fail. The first known time he ever suffered a significant injury was in a battle against Kozuki Oden, a legendary samurai who was dual-wielding 2 of the 21 great grade swords, Enma and Haba Ame no Habakiri, gaining a scar on his body. During the raid on Onigashima, the 9 Red Scabbards were able to inflict considerable damage to him through teamwork and their improved strength and skills, though not to the same extent as Oden. When he was simultaneously attacked by Luffy, Law, Kid, Zoro, and Killer, Kaido sustained damage. Even in his hybrid form, despite taking more lasting damage from the members of the worst generation, Kaido continued fighting regularly, becoming more irritated than alarmed by their growing ability to damage him. He became more irritated that they were damaging him than being concerned that they were actually damaging him. Where did I stop? Showing his enormous endurance and pain tolerance, Kaido was, however, visibly taken by surprise at Law's ability to continually bypass his defenses, as well as Luffy and Zoro's growing skill with Conquerors Hockey, and how both were actually able to seriously injure him with their Haki. Despite his increased strength, Kaido is OP, I'm not even done yet. Despite his increased strength and skill with Conquerors Hockey, however, Kaido was still capable of defeating Luffy single-handedly, though Kaido admitted that the fight caused him to get more excited than he'd been in a while. Despite his enormous size, Kaido is extremely fast in combat and can move from one spot to another almost instantaneously. This 22-foot tall man is capable of appearing here, all the way over there in an instant because he is that fast. He completely blitzed Luffy in an instant while attacking him and appearing behind him afterwards. Another testament to his speed, he was fast enough to nearly once again blitz Luffy despite the latter perceiving the future using observation Haki, only barely avoiding a head-on attack. He is so fast that he is able of outmaneuvering a person who can actually see him attack them using future sight from observation Haki. That is how fast Kaido is. And those are just his physical capabilities. I haven't even gotten to his Devil Fruit abilities or his Haki abilities as well. Devil Fruit. Kaido ate the Uo Uo no Mi model Seiryu, a mythical Zoan-type devil fruit that allows him to transform into a full serpentine azure dragon and a human-dragon hybrid at will. His full beast form is massive, roughly half the size of a small town, with extremely durable blue scales. As a dragon, Kaido is capable of moving through the air, creating special clouds called flame clouds, and using them as footholds. These clouds can also be used to lift other objects. They are even capable of lifting an entire island out of the sea. He can also release devastating blasts of fire from his mouth, which can instantly deal significant damage to, if not fully obliterate, large structures, as we've seen before. Aside from his fire breath, Kaido can also release other elemental attacks from his mouth. He can release bolts of lightning by roaring, or invincible sharp wind blades by blowing. Kaido has mastered his devil fruit powers to the level that he can access some of his draconic abilities without needing to transform, such as generating flame clouds to levitate Onigashima. He was even able to do so while battling against 5 members of the worst generation alongside Big Mom, so his concentration of using the special abilities of his dragon form are so perfect that he can just fight other people and focus on that and not have to worry about his powers being shut off elsewhere. Now we enter into the Haki portion of his abilities. Kaido is one of the few people in the world who are capable of using all 3 forms of Haki. Law stated that he could not directly move Kaido around inside his room due to his Haki being too strong. Let me say that again. Law stated that he could not directly move Kaido around inside of his room because Kaido's Haki kept him from being moved. That's how strong Kaido's Haki is, that Law's room can't even affect him. So, Conquerors Hockey. Kaido possesses immense mastery in Conquerors Hockey, which was first displayed when he clashed against fellow Conquerors Hockey user Big Mom, resulting in a lightning-like effect that shook Onigashima and split the heavens. Most notably, Kaido is one of the few powerful individuals able to imbue their Conquerors Hockey into objects, such as his Kanabo, which is signified by thin lightning-like streams of dark energy emanating from the imbued areas. I know I'm supposed to be getting on to chapter 1014, but I just wanted to read this about Kaido, so it makes a lot of sense about why the next chapter begins the way it does. Which is signified by thin lightning-like streams of dark energy emanating from the imbued areas, and I'll read your comments as well. This imbuement allows him to dramatically increase his attack power as a supplement to his natural physical strength and Armament Haki. This degree of strength has allowed him to quickly knock powerful pirates like Luffy, Zoro, and Law unconscious with only 1 or 2 strikes. Then we have Armament Haki. Kaido is an immensely powerful user of Armament Haki, which he is capable of imbuing into his Kanabo. In the battle on Onigashima, similarly to Katakuri, his Armament Haki was strong enough to damage Luffy, who hardened both of his own arms. He is capable of utilizing the advanced application of projecting his Armament Haki out from his Kanabo, allowing him to strike opponents many meters in front of him with devastating power without the need to make direct contact. Yet another application of Armament Haki that Yamato uses in her fight style. Because when she was fighting against one of the numbers when they were underground, and she used her own Kanabo to shoot a condensed portion of actual Armament Haki, a condensed portion of Haki at one of the numbers to hit him in the chin and knock him out completely. Kaido can do that, but to a far greater degree. So Yamato bases a lot of her own attacks off of her own father. So Kaido is capable of not only hitting people with Conquerors and messing them up massively, but he can also project Armament Haki out from him and use it as a projectile, just like Yamato can. But it's Kaido, so the attack power is a lot more devastating. Allowing him to strike opponents many meters in front of him with devastating power without the need to make direct contact, and the attack power can be further increased if the Kanabo is imbued with Conquerors Haki. Then we have Observation Haki. Kaido possesses Observation Haki, which he first demonstrated when he sensed the voices of the supernovas in the wake of his and Big Mom's combined attack, which enabled him to tell they were still alive. In the rare event that he faces an attack that will harm him, Kaido can also use this Haki to help him dodge. And Luffy made notice of this when he was fighting Kaido earlier. And then we have the list of all of his attacks. Kosanze Ragnarok. But that's where I'm going to stop reading Kaido. That's where I'm going to stop reading Kaido's physical capability so we can move on to chapter 1014. Hey Zay, what's going on? Now let me see what you guys have said. And it decided to go to chapter 113. Again, let me go to 114. All right. Hypothetically, let's just say he might be stronger than Rayleigh. That's pretty much it. Hypothetically, if Kaido strikes both armed and unarmed, if Kaido's strikes both armed and unarmed were quantified using the rarely referred to Doruki, what would those numbers look like? Maybe millions, possibly billions in terms of strength, because that's how strong Kaido is. At this point, even Pain era Naruto would have a hard time beating Kaido one-on-one aside from the clone jutsu. Karma said Kaido is OP. Of course, we knew Luffy was going to struggle against Kaido. This is honestly his greatest challenge yet. I even stated that Kaido's Haki may have gotten slightly weaker for not having a proper fight. And still, he's contending with Luffy so easily. His Haki and fighting skills may be a bit rusty since no one has actually pushed him to actually improve. It's like Frieza when he learned he had a golden form and immediately went to go fight Goku rather than get control of his golden form. He was so happy to be brought back to life again and, actually trained that he didn't pace himself in training, and that's what led to him being defeated once again when he faced off against Goku and Vegeta. Kaido functioned the same way. This is the only person who has brought him to the point where he needed to actually put his all into fighting. So Kaido really hasn't been in a position where he's been pushed to improve. So he's just been stagnated ever since Odin. No one else has been able to get him to, push himself any more than Odin. And possibly the altercation between him and Shanks when Shanks was on his way to Marineford. But that was it. So Kaido, for all intents and purposes, is in fact weaker in using his Haki than he was way back when, because he's never had a reason to improve. And even then, he is still capable of dealing with Luffy and the rest of them. Since fighting, I already know that somehow, some way, Luffy's Haki is gonna get stronger than Kaido's, which will make no sense. I mean, that's kind of the way it kind of goes a little bit. Karma, somewhat it goes that way. But let's go ahead and start with chapter 1014, and then we'll talk a little bit about where the story could possibly go, and then I'll bring it to a close, so I don't keep you guys too long. But chapter 1014, the Ham, it literally begins with Kaido having tossed Luffy's body unconscious body off of Onigashima, saying, "So you infused yourself with the color of the Supreme King, but your use of it was crude and clumsy. Gum, what was it again?" And then he's just laughing at Luffy as he falls off of Onigashima into the ocean below. "You couldn't beat Joy Boy either, it seems." So, one thing that commenter left on my video was that Kaido knows about Joy Boy, and he's looking at Luffy saying, like, "You couldn't possibly be Joy Boy." So I'm wondering, where did Kaido hear about Joy Boy? Because what we know about Joy Boy is, and I look it up here, Joy Boy was an extremely relevant figure of the Void Century who played an important role in the history of Fishman Island and left behind a certain item of unimaginable value on the last island of the Grand Line. He was first mentioned on the Ryugu poneglyph read by Nico Robin while at the Sea Forest. Goldie Roger declared that he wished the two could have lived during the same period. Upon learning the true history on Laugh Tale, when the appointed time comes, Joy Boy is expected to appear again. The true meaning of this expectation remains unknown. At some point, Joy Boy came across an island which would later be named Laugh Tale by Goldie Roger and left behind a treasure that would come to be known by the world as One Piece. Joy Boy made a promise with the residents of Fishman Island 900 years ago, but since the poneglyphs were invented by the Kozuki family 800 years ago, his letter of apology was written at least a century later. If the letter was written by Joy Boy himself, he had a lifespan of at least 100 years. Odin wished for Wano country to open its borders before the day Joy Boy finally reappears. And then here at the bottom of this trivia section, it says that Kaido stated that Luffy couldn't be Joy Boy either after feeding him. Now, I agree with you guys are saying that maybe he learned of Joy Boy from Rocks, due to the fact that Rocks had an affinity for dealing into the macabre and into history that pretty much the world government didn't want anyone to know. That's why he was so world renowned to the world government and erased from the history books, is that he wanted to delve into knowledge that no one else should know. So it wouldn't surprise me if Rocks knew about Joy Boy and the Void Century, and he told his crew about it, and that's how Kaido knows about Joy Boy, because of the time he had with the Rocks Pirates. This is a thought I had when I was playing, gaming yesterday after I was done doing all my videos. And streams. I thought about it, and I was thinking, you know what? Maybe his time on the Rocks Pirate crew, he heard about Joy Boy from Rocks, since Rocks, likes to learn about things that shouldn't be learned. So it wouldn't be surprising if that's how Kaido knows about Joy Boy. But let's continue on with this chapter. You couldn't be Joy Boy either, it seems. And then Bao Huang rings in, saying, Master Kaido, we have found Momonosuke. And Kaido saying, I'll be there at once. And Bao Huang announced the results to all of Onigashima. Now, mind you, Kaido is beaten up here. He's got blood all over him. He's bruised. He still has the cut from Zoro across his chest. Though you would think with the wounds he suffered, he'd be bleeding profusely. So his endurance, pain tolerance, and regenerative abilities as, what he is, it's very substantial that he's just standing. And he never has any trouble holding that kanabo on of his at all times. So the fact that during the whole fight that was going on between him and Luffy, and he still came out victorious despite all the injuries that he suffered, and then he's saying, okay, I'm going to make my way down and start cleaning up. He didn't say he's going to make his way down, try and cover up the wound that's on his chest that Zoro left. He says, I'm going to make my way down and continue fighting. This man has a gaping wound on his chest. A cut that he himself says that is going to stay with him forever. And his first thing is, I'm going to make my way inside and I'm going to start cleaning up and killing everyone else who is still alive. At least from the raid, at least from the samurai side of things. I'm just going to start killing everybody and make my way to Momonosuke. This dude, his endurance, stamina, and pain tolerance is insane. Because he's been handed a whole bunch of attacks that have left him bleeding, gasping, and breathing out heavily, but he's not breathing heavily here. He's done fighting. Dude in the last chapter says, I can't believe I got myself worked up for you. And now he's ready to go right back downstairs. Who was it from this chat that said, if Kaido makes it down, if Kaido starts going downstairs, it's all over? Because that's exactly what he does in this chapter. But he tells Bao Huang to announce the results to all of Onigashima, and as we cut back into the third floor castle, Yamato is beating up a whole bunch of beast pirates, saying, that's right, I'm not your prisoner anymore, I am Odin, as they start to notice that Yamato no longer has any cuffs on her arms. Then we see Shinobu, along with Momonosuke saying, it seems that I truly must not die. And then his head starts hurting because of the voice of all things, of which we some pretty much surmise. His head starts hurting, he starts screaming out in pain, and then the next one at the performance floor in the Skull Dome shows Monster Point Chopper just suplexing and shoulder throwing Queen in his Brachiosaurus form all around the room, with both samurai and beast pirates cheering him on. And Pedals is there as well, creating candy arrows to shoot all over the place, just causing problems. And we find out that when Chopper was with Caesar, when they had him imprisoned, when they were going to take him to, Dressrosa, during that time, Caesar actually gave him advice on how to improve his monster point form. And Caesar says, just 3 minutes? What can you do with that? But if I'm in monster form any longer than that, then what? Are you so precious about your looks and you call yourself a pirate? And this gets Chopper and Man upset. Rumble balls, look at that sloppy work. Get this list of chemicals and you can stretch that gigantification time to 30 minutes. Sure, there are risks, but you're not a coward, are you? Isn't it crazy that the only person to injure Kaido was out of the battle? Now with Luffy out there, there is no hope. Like, I agree with you, Karma. The one person to injure Kaido in this entire arc substantially and permanently is now out of the fight. Permanently for the rest of this arc. He literally has 20 to 30 broken bones. He cannot do anything with that. I don't care how strong he was taking in all of Luffy's internal pain back in Thriller Bark. He has bones that don't just heal by themselves. He's not Wolverine. He's not Deadpool. He can't just heal up that fast. He has to remain bound up in that little body cast that Sanji has for him for the rest of the arc. Zoro, the one person to actually injure Kaido permanently, can no longer be of any use to anyone throughout the entire rest of this arc. And since Zoro was the only one to actually ever injure him, and Luffy, who just got thrown off of Onigashima into the ocean below, there's no one else to take on Kaido that can stop him. There's no one that can stop Kaido now. Can we just say that? Luffy was going to be the one to stop him because main character plot armor. Zoro was close. Zoro can't be out for the whole arc. There's too much hype around him. That's the thing. You build up all that hype, and then you just keep him out for the rest of the arc because of what Zoro can actually do. If you allowed Zoro to run wild and just take on everyone, especially with him using Enma and all these different swords he has and all these different new attacks that we've seen, like Ashita, Dead Man's Game, he would be mopping up the floor. If he's capable of injuring Kaido like that, he's capable of taking anyone else out in the arc. Thus why he was taken out of the arc. Because if he can take on Kaido, he can take on anyone else. And that would trivialize anyone else trying to have their own fights in this arc. Thus, Zoro just gets knocked out. Can't do anything with him. He's bound up. Can't fight. Because Zoro's too strong for this arc now. Think about that. Zoro has become too strong for this arc, so they had to get Zoro knocked out and put in commission so that he cannot take the limelight from everyone. That's how it is, Karma. Zoro is too strong for this arc, so Oda had to nerf him by breaking all of his bones. Oda saw that Zoro was too powerful, so he had to nerf Zoro in this arc by breaking all of his bones. Oh my goodness, tea is so good. But Chopper is still fighting Queen. Remember when Oda said that if Akainu were the main character, he would find One Piece in only 1 year due to how strong he is? How fast would it take if Kaido were the main character? I mean, Kaido can fly, so it would probably take less than a year. Akainu has to go by way of the ship. This was supposed to be his arc, though. I mean, he had his moment where he did the one thing that no one else could do except Odin. That was his moment. I think there's still hope for a Zoro versus King fight. Look, I know y'all are hoping that Zoro does something extra during this arc, but this man, if he does anything more, he's going to put his body at more risk than he should. Law says this man has 20 to 30 broken bones. And that's not just including the bones that I would like to think that some of those bones include ones that protect vital organs or make it so that he could actually continue fighting. As much as I would like to see Zoro do more in this arc, The injury he suffered and the little speech that Law just told us about his current body state right now, it doesn't give much hope in the way of, Zoro making a surprise comeback. Not unless he learns how to heal fast, rapidly. Zoro might not be doing too much more in this arc, other than talking. That's just how I see it. But, Queen tries to hit Chopper with an attack called Black Coffee Beam, and it hits some people behind Chopper, but Chopper dodges it. And Pedro is peppering the area full of arrows. Ain't Law a doctor? What kind of doctor can't heal bones in an anime? The kind that is really focused on the fight rather than treating people. Because if you notice, Law has been focused on nothing but offensive this whole time. Not too much defensive, but offensive. And he's kind of focused on the fight right now. Whereas Chopper would be the main one focusing on making sure people are healed up. But Chopper's kind of busy with Queen right now. Pedro is peppering arrows all over the place with the candy arrow rain again. And Bao Huang jumps up to one of the performance floor balconies and tells all the Marys to go into diffusion mode, which is pretty much loudspeaker mode for all over the palace, and announces that announcement to all of Onigashima, the fight is over. The highest bounty on the enemy side, Straw Hat Luffy, has lost. And everyone is taken aback by this news. All Zoro needs is some milk for his bones. I don't think Chopper is getting enough credit for fighting Queen. The one with the lowest bounty one with possibly one of the lowest bounties in the entire. Wait a minute. Does Chopper have the lowest bounty out of everyone in the entire series? What is Chopper's bounty? Ain't it like 50 or 100? What is Chopper's bounty? Hold on. His bounty is 100. Due to him being mistaken for the crew's pet. Does Chopper have the lowest bounty out of every single character in the entire series? Because that is what you call some massive props to your own hype. Chopper is a 100 berries. And I think he's the lowest bountied individual in the entire series of One Piece, and he's taking on one of Kaido's own commanders who has bounties that reaches into the billions. And Chopper is throwing them hands. In his Monster Point form, he is literally just throwing Queen around the room in any type, and the attempts that Queen is having on trying to take out Chopper is not really putting Chopper down. Chopper is still working in his Monster Point form, just dealing with Queen. First, he slapped a taste out of his mouth, and then he's just throwing him around the room. The lowest bountied character in all of One Piece is contending with one of Kaido's own calamities, just throwing him around the room. I really would like to know what his real bounty would be. I wouldn't be surprised if they still see him as a pet, but as a fighting type pet, maybe they'll bring him up to 100,000. Not in the millions, but maybe 100,000, because they still think, well, he's a pet, but he's also a pet that's also a doctor, so let's bring him up like a couple hundred. Let's bring him up a couple hundred. So 100,000 would probably be his next bounty, but it would probably still be insulting to Chopper because, oh no, I don't have like a million bounty and I just took on Queen. I took on one of Kaido's own men and you're only going to give me 100,000? That's exactly what it would sound like. So 100,000 seems like the next logical choice, but due to the Navy not knowing the specifics of what all is going on and knowing what Chopper fully is. Pretty sure Queen has a top 100 bounty right now. Let me look up Queen's as well, because since I already got the page here, you guys don't have to worry. I'll look it up. I think if Chopper were taken seriously, it might be 100 million to 250 million berries. I wouldn't be surprised. But due to the Navy not being able to tell what Chopper actually is to the crew of the Straw Hats, it wouldn't surprise me if they just still keep him at 100,000 because they still see him as a pet. That's just how dense the Navy is when it comes to that. Queen's bounty is 1,320,000,000. So a 100 bounty pirate is taking on a 1 billion bounty pirate. So if that doesn't do wonders for your reputation, a 100 bounty pirate is throwing around a 1 billion berry bounty pirate. And everyone is just watching this. If no one else believes that Chopper can contend with them, then anyone who's present in this current fight right now will be evidence to the contrary. But Bao Huang announces that Luffy lost, and now Straw Hat Luffy sinks to the bottom of the dark cold sea. The Kozuki Samurai and the pirate captain have both fallen. The Kozuki Samurai and the pirate captain have both fallen. Who will be next? Can anyone else win? Master Kaido will now descend and begin to clean up the stragglers. And then... Oh, I know. Oh, okay, so now I know how Kaido got back inside the building again. He's flying into the hole. He's flying into the hole that Big Mom made when she used full Gora to, knock Kid and Killer back inside of Onigashima. Because he says, look at this mess you've made, Lin Lin. And I'm pretty sure he's using the hole that Big Mom created to go into the, back into Onigashima again. But heed closely, for Master Kaido will allow you to surrender. Only those who raise their arms in surrender and compliance will be spared their lives and allowed to serve as our followers. And both Zoro and Sanji are all like, screw that noise, we're not falling for him. And then we cut to the passage to first floor crawl space, where Kanjiro is there, and Kikunojo and Kinemon are there with Momonosuke as well. And Shinobu notices that one of the Marys are there as well. The outcome is clear. Surrender, Wano, you have lost this battle. And Kanjiro comes out appearing like Odin, and this is where a dense type of moment for Kikunojo kind of came in here. Momonosuke doesn't understand that that's Kanjiro, and Shinobu doesn't understand as well. Kikunojo immediately notices this. Not again. It's not him. Get back, Shinobu. It's an imposter. Not once, but twice you show us those mocking lies. And fake Odin, Kanjiro, says, what do you mean, Kiku? Why are you so angry? It's me. After what you did to Ashura. Stop, Kiku. What are you doing? Don't use your body to call this one's name, Kanjiro. Is this some kind of joke, Kiku? I'm the man who took you and Izo in. And in that moment, Kikunojo remembers when the real Odin took in both of them and hesitates momentarily in order to impale Kikunojo straight through the chest. And this shocks both Shinobu and Kinemon. Now, we talked about this during yesterday's live stream. We talked about how and why did Kiku fall for this trick twice. You knew this was Kanjuro. You knew he was using Odin's body to pose as him and to fool you. You knew it before you even launched at him in this panel. Yet a brief moment in your mind made you hesitate, thinking like, oh no, the memory of Odin, it caused you to hesitate, and then you get impaled through the chest. You knew this wasn't Odin. Yet you fell for the same trick twice. You hesitated. Before Kanjuro mentions Odin taking her and Izo in, she literally says that she knows it's Kanjuro. Exactly! I know it's you, Kanjuro. Don't use this body to call this one's name. Kanjuro, in the same exact page where Kiku is stabbed through. You knew it was him, yet you still hesitated because of the memory of the real Odin. And then you get impaled. Let me continue reading on. It's only fair. The wound you already gave me will prove fatal, Kiku. And then everyone screams out, Kanjiro! Over-emotionalism cost her. Seriously, just the memory of Odin was enough to cause Kiku to hesitate. And Kiku falls into Kinemon's arms, blood shooting from the gut wound and blood shooting from the mouth. And Kiku says, Master Keen, this one has failed, but if the fallen snow is melting, then surely the hour of dawn is close at hand. I think Mr. Morge's prediction of the raid failing is coming true. He's been saying this for months. The hour of dawn is close at hand. Don't talk nonsense. No, I'm sure the light of Wano's dawn will shine all the way down to the underworld. And it shows Kanjiro preparing to cut down Kinemon. And Kanjiro and Kinemon cuts down Kanjiro and sends him falling backwards. But Kanjiro starts laughing, saying like, that's it. If anyone should close the curtain on my act, it ought to be you, Kinemon. After all, on stage, we were always best of friends. And then Kanjiro just falls down. And here's the thing. The moment Kanjiro falls down on the ground, Kaido immediately comes crashing in. Not even a second has passed after he's fallen over. Kaido immediately comes in after and surprises everyone. And as Kinemon tells Shinobu, take Lord Momonosuke and flee. And as they're running off, we see Kaido bring his Kanabo back, imbuing it with Conquerors Hockey, and bringing it completely down on Kinemon's head, breaking both of his swords in the process. And Momonosuke sees this, starts bawling his eyes out, and screams Kinemon's name as the last narration for this panel reads, Onigashima reaches the Wano mainland. So we see the ocean right here, but we also see Udon right there as well. So Onigashima has made it to the mainland right then and there. And that is the end of chapter 1014. So, lots of ground to cover. Kaido ain't wasting no time. No, he's not. He knew exactly where Momonosuke was when Bao Huang told him where they were. And he immediately made a beeline for them to get to him. And just as soon as Kinemon has to cut down a person he called friend in the past, the moment Kanjiro's... Here, the thing is, the panel doesn't show that time has passed after Kanjiro's lifeless body hits the ground. The moment Kanjiro's body hits the ground, no more than a few seconds pass until Kaido comes crashing in through the roof, landing right where they are, and he just brings his Kanabo down on Kinemon. There isn't even a single... There's only one instance where he's carrying his Kanabo over himself, and he's already preparing in another panel to bring it down on Kinemon. He does not waste any time getting the one person out of the way that can keep him from getting to Momonosuke. He does not waste any time at all. He's done. Kaido is done playing. He's been playing this whole... The thing is, Kaido has been playing the entire time we have met him. He has been playing all this time. He has not been taking things seriously with any opponent that he has faced thus far. Even when Luffy learned how to use Conquerors Hockey in his own attacks, he got a little bit serious. And after he beat Luffy and tossed his unconscious body off of Onigashima into the ocean, he was thinking, I don't even know why I even got worked up over you. The only person to give Kaido a run for his money during this entire arc was Luffy and Zoro. One is incapacitated with multiple broken bones. The other one is slowly sinking to the bottom of the sea. No one else can stop Kaido, even if they wanted to. Not now. Kaido is done playing. Because now that he's seeing like, well, because I let you live and I didn't cut off your head, now people are still going to be hopeful that you're going to beat me. Isn't that right? So now, he's mopping up, he's tying up loose ends, he's mopping up the stragglers, and it's all, okay, I need to bring this to a close now because I've wasted too much of my time already. These kids made me go into my hybrid form, which I want to believe he hasn't assumed in decades. So now, since there's nothing else to actually pique his interest in fighting and get him smiling during the fight again, because he was smiling when he was fighting Luffy, just a little, because he was saying how much fun it was to fight again. But now that the people who could actually give him a fun fight are gone and out of his way, he's all like, "Oh boy, great! Now I feel sober. Now I gotta go get drunk and kill these people." It's like the dude was not even fazed by the chain of events that had happened. Ever since we met Kaido, he has not been serious. One thing I'll give Luffy is he hasn't even used the new power. I'm surprised that we haven't seen... Here's the thing. We haven't seen Luffy try and use Conquerors Hockey with Gear 4th. We only see him use it with just his normal punches. Just his normal punches. Now, he used Ryuo with Gear 3rd. But we haven't seen him assume his Gear 4th form seriously during this fight, or try to employ Ryuo with Gear 4th, or even employ Conquerors Hockey with Gear 4th. It was only with Gear 3rd, that's the extent that we've seen. And now that Luffy has been sent flying into the ocean, he's got to recover because, you know, the effects of a Devil Fruit user in water kind of weakens them, and they need like a short time to get back to their fighting strength. So, and here's the thing, I say either Law's crew is going to find him on a submarine and get him back up to the surface, or since Momonosuke's voice of all things was ringing off, a lot of you have been saying that it's going to be a Sea King that saves Luffy. Wouldn't it be something if it was the King of the Coast, or the Sea King of the Coast, the very same Sea King that tried to kill Luffy from the beginning that ends up saving him and getting him back to the surface? Wouldn't that be crazy? Wouldn't that be crazy if the very first Sea King we see in the story is the one that brings Luffy back to the surface? Or it could just be some random Sea King. It could be random. I don't know. But wouldn't it be crazy, though, if the same one that tried to kill Luffy before took Shanks' arm and was scared by his Conquerors Hockey was the one... Hold on. Pardon me, everyone. My sister surprised me with a peanut butter brownie cookie. It's actually quite good. Shanks let his arm go on purpose. He wanted to nerf himself. Shanks let it go on purpose, wanted to nerf himself, and deny us future fights with Mihawk. I feel like we got denied seeing Mihawk and Shanks fighting. Their fights were so legendary that even Whitebeard's all like, I heard of your fights between Mihawk, but between yourself and Mihawk, those are legendary fights. If Whitebeard says that your fights are legendary, those are some fights that we need to see in anime form and in a manga form, if you don't mind. But wouldn't it be crazy if it's the same Sea King that saves Luffy? It could be a random one, and it just go off from there. And as you guys know, the old movie trope where it tells you the obvious. As you know, Sea Kings can talk, but only if a person has the voice of all things can they understand the Sea Kings talking. The Sea Kings can have their own language, but only people who have the voice of all things can understand it. So, wouldn't it be something if the Sea Kings save Luffy and see him as Joy Boy? Because why else would Joy Boy's name be dropped in this chapter if not to solidify the Sea King? Because when you think about it, Sea Kings are actually quite important in this story. Sea Kings are smart. They know who Joy Boy is. They know about the events that are leading up to everything that's been going on. Soon, a child will be born. So Sea Kings are actually really, really smart. It's just that we really don't give Sea Kings all the credit. You know what? Let's actually read up on Sea Kings, because they're really massively intelligent. We just don't give them their own due credit. But the fact that they were able to say, like, a child will be born later in life, like, they're literally foretelling the age of when Luffy will be born, and other people will be born as well. So let me pull up Sea King. Okay, let's see. Sea Kings are huge carnivorous monsters that inhabit all of the world's oceans. They are especially prevalent throughout the calm belt surrounding the Grand Line, and as such are one of the most common and notorious hazards encountered by seafarers in the sea. Now, let's see. Behavior. However, let's see. They are classified as type C creatures, big savage. This is largely justified by their near constant preying on other creatures, even comparatively tiny humans. Once the Sea King has zeroed in on its prey, it will attack relentlessly and only retreat in the face of overwhelming physical, or more rarely mental, force. You know, in the presence of people who used Conquerors Hockey. However, they are not entirely mindless predators, as proven by their mental link through Poseidon. Though incapable of physical speech, they can deliver wholly coherent thoughts through telepathy. Chief among them, a genuine reverence towards whichever mermaid currently holds the Poseidon bloodline. In addition, while they feel no special kinship towards humans as a whole, they are entirely capable of acknowledging and even respecting an individual human strength. I feel like Kaido is physically stronger than Shanks, but in terms of hockey and overall willpower, nobody messes with Shanks. There's a reason why Shanks is ranked among the Yonko, and he's the most normal like them, and his crew is really feared by everyone. He's the least bloodthirsty, but that does not diminish his overall strength. Sea Kings made, okay, let me see. Most others fear the Sea Kings, Banana Wani, Yuda, Blue Gorillas, and Impel Down, Giants. Only the strongest of ships or captains can take on a Sea King. Confrontation with one by few humans is inadvisable and is considered nothing short of suicide. The fisherman Jinbei also acknowledged the danger Sea Kings pose after summoning whale sharks into the calm belt, thus proving that at the very least, fishmen are also aware of their potential threat. Many people, such as Frankie, see the act of killing one as a sign of strength and achievement. Their perception, however, can easily be fooled by sea stone. When something is covered in sea stone, they will not notice the object at all, as they'll mistake it for the ocean. The Marines use that for their advantage and cover their ships with sea stone to avoid being attacked by Sea Kings. Vice Admiral Momonga implied that Sea Kings cannot be fooled for very long, though, and that they'll eventually notice the ship anyway. This is where the link between Poseidon comes in. Even though the mermaids can communicate with fish in the Sea Kings are beyond their reach. This indicates that they are very different to the other aquatic inhabitants of the ocean. Ryuboshi once commented that he always dreamt of riding on the back of a Sea King. However, according to legend, once every few centuries, a mermaid is born with the ability to speak to the Sea Kings. On that day, the world will change forever. Then one day, a man will appear to guide that mermaid. The name of the previous mermaid turned out to be Poseidon, whose abilities were considered a weapon that is able to destroy the world and whose power is in line with the other two ancient weapons called Pluton and Uranus. This power implies that the Sea Kings are very powerful indeed, but it is noted that due to the nature of this ability, when used for the greater evil, it is a most dangerous ability, as if they're drawn into a rage by the mermaid's ability unintentionally through shock. Due to the mermaid's lack of control, they can destroy and sink every land mass in the ocean. Besides the mermaid of legend, the only other people who seem to be able to hear the Sea Kings have been Monkey D. Luffy, Kozuki Oden, and Goldie Roger. The later is said to have been able to hear the voice of all things. Alright, Sea Kings occupy the belt. Instances throughout history, changing times. Fishman Island, let's see. All right, here on Fishman Island, during the Fishman Island arc, the Sea Kings were summoned by Shirahoshi's will to become Luffy's strength. The Sea Kings lend their strength to aid Luffy in protecting the island by stopping Noah from crashing into the island. Shanks' Haki probably out of this world. There's a reason why Shanks... Here's the thing. In the entire history of One Piece, we've seen Haki clashes before, and we've seen, like, especially specifically, a good example would be Luffy versus Katakuri. When their Hakis clash, it causes the wind to blow in the mirror worlds and cause the area around them to just feel dense. But so far, Shanks is the only person whose Conquerors Haki is so strong, it can actually start to destroy the area and damage the area around him. Because when he went on Whitebeard's ship, he actually started to break parts of Whitebeard's ship in line on top of knocking out anyone with a weaker will on the ship. Like, if you pull up the video where Shanks is walking on the Whitebeard's ship and you see everything else just start to crack around him, that's how dense his Conqueror's Haki is. Shanks is the only person we've seen who just used Conqueror's Haki alone to literally damage the area around him. He's the only person that we've seen do that. I'm not counting Haki clashes because that's done for cinematic effect. Shanks is the only one who can use Conqueror's Haki and just purely start to break stuff around him because his Haki is so dense. He's the only person we've seen do that in this entire series. And we've seen the Conqueror's Haki from Big Mom and Kaido. But we've never seen them just break the area from pure, concentrated, dense Conqueror's Haki before. Shanks is the only one. There's a reason for that, because Shanks' Haki is beyond what we've seen. We just only caught a glimpse of it. And I feel like when Shanks starts to take center stage in these stories, we're going to see just how capable Shanks' Haki is. Because first of all, he was the first person to actually show off Haki in the whole series. There's a reason for that. There's got to be a reason why Shanks was the very first one to show off Haki. Enough Haki to scare a Sea King away and never come back. Enough Haki to clash with Whitebeard one-handed and split the heavens. Enough Haki to literally start to break Whitebeard's ship when he visited him. Haki strong enough to clash with a Kainu, no problem, and dared anyone at Marineford to try and fight them. There's a reason why Shanks has the reputation he has. And I feel like when he gets more chapters dedicated to him and the resounding story arcs and everything, we're going to see why Shanks is as strong as he is. Let's not forget about Dragon. His Haki must be wild too. That wouldn't be surprising. I mean, Garp did say that it's no surprise that Luffy has Conqueror's Haki. You did inherit it after all. So it leads one to believe that a Dragon has it as well. Can you imagine the level of Haki control from pretty much the individual that the world government sees as the most dangerous man in the entire world? Just how threatening that must be. I still want that Straw Hats versus Red Hair 1v1 sparring. It would be interesting. But let me continue reading about the Sea Kings here, and then we can talk about where we think the story is going to come from. We're going to go in a whole... How long have I been going for? I'm getting relatively close to about 2 hours. Got about a good 15 minutes or so, give or take. But in the process, they also protected the ship from being completely destroyed by Luffy. They then revealed to Shirahoshi that it was indeed her that called them, and it was her wish to aid Luffy that led to their actions. The Sea Kings go on saying that Shirahoshi has been destined to be their queen, and they move Noah to the Sea Force where it will be fixed. So like I said, Sea Kings are intelligent. You just need to be either Poseidon or have the voice of all things to be able to comprehend what they're saying. To everyone else, they're just carnivorous, ravenous monsters. But to people like Luffy and Odin and Roger and potentially Momonosuke, that voice of all things allows you to see them as more than just mere creatures. They have some significance, some very important significance. Now, let me pull up the voice of all things, because this has been popping up throughout this entire battle of Onigashima. Every now and again, Momonosuke would get headaches because of it. So, bringing up, the ability to hear the voice of all things is a unique power that only a few people in the world possess. The voice of all things refers to the words conveyed by inanimate objects and animals that do not speak the human language. Although these words are usually either inaudible or unintelligible to humans, there exists an innate ability that allows a person to perceive these words and to understand and gain information through them. For example, it is possible to use this ability to gain information from the poneglyphs as well as track them down. Some people are able to converse with the voice and, in case it belongs to an animal, might even be able to command it. However, those who are able to perceive the voice of all things are usually unaware that they possess the ability and do not even know about the voice of all things itself. Furthermore, as shown with Roger, though he was able to hear the poneglyph's voice enough to make a vague idea of its contents, this did not mean he could read the text or decipher its meaning. He simply understood that it held great importance. And here we have the users. Goldie Roger, who's the most prominent wielder of this ability and make great use of it. After reaching the end of the Grand Line, he learned about the poneglyphs, and on his search for Laugh-Tale, he was able to perceive the voice of Big Mom's road poneglyph. Roger then led his crew to Skypiea and followed the voice of the poneglyph on the Shandorian Golden Belfry Bell. On their route to Fishman Island, Roger was able to perceive the Sea King's voices but did not understand who was talking. At Zou, he had a strange feeling, sensing a great power. Kozuki Odin was able to hear the voice of all things, and the great voice at Zou similar to Roger. Monkey D. Luffy is able to perceive and understand animals like the Sea Kings and Zunisha as well, but has not shown the ability to perceive the voice of non-living things. Kozuki Momonosuke is able to perceive Zunisha. Similar to his father and Roger, he felt strange after arriving at Zou, which got stronger when he got closer to the whale tree. Unlike all others, Momonosuke was actually able to converse with the elephant, giving it the order to attack the beast pirates and, one-shotting Jack all the way back then. And then lastly, the Three-Eyed Tribe. The members of the Three-Eyed Tribe are rumored to have access to this ability through utilizing the power of their third eye. Pudding is along those members as well. However, mixed blood members might not necessarily be able to use it at all, or at least implied by Charlotte Linlin, it could awaken later in life. So even though Pudding is a mixed breed of third-eyed tribe, of the third-eyed tribe, it is not guaranteed that she's going to immediately have access to it. That's pretty much why Big Mom was banking on Pudding learning it. Because she knew that Roger had the voice of all things, but she didn't. So she was banking on the fact that Pudding could potentially awaken it later in her life, so that way, I guess, go search for those road poneglyphs and find the One Piece herself. Here we go. The ability to perceive the voice of all things bears similarity to Shirahoshi's and Poseidon's ability to communicate with Sea Kings. Some other characters have demonstrated a similar ability to hear or understand animals or objects, though these are either single occurrences or a different ability. Tony Chopper, being a reindeer, can understand other animals, and after eating the Hito Hito no Mi, communicates with humans as well. The anime only Hiso Hiso no Mi allows the user to communicate telepathically, but not control animals. Luffy has demonstrated this ability in 2 non-canon instances in the Warship Island arc. He was able to read Ryu's mind, something no one else could do except the user of the aforementioned Hiso Hiso no Mi. And in the One Piece Unlimited Adventure game, he was able to hear the spirit of Sealed within the orb, as well as commune with him when the orb broke and released his spirit. So, the voice of all things has become a more recurring thing in the whole of the Wano arc, more than any other thing that has occurred in One Piece thus far. So I feel like we're going to find out that maybe there's something else that goes in lines with the voice of all things that we're just not seeing. Because there has to be more to it. Like there's multiple stages to different categories of hockey, I feel like there's multiple stages to the voice of all things. Not just being able to hear animals and understand them, and hear inanimate objects, which is the extent that Roger has shown. But also, I feel like there might be another stage to the voice of all things that goes beyond just hearing living and non-living things that normally cannot speak. So I feel like the voice of all things it has another stage to it. Because, come on, we've seen multiple stages to Observation Haki, we've seen multiple stages to Armament Haki, and now recently we've seen multiple stages to Conquerors Hockey. So with the voice of all things being yet an undisclosed type power that very, even fewer than people who have Conquerors have, I feel like there's another stage to that we have not seen as well. Now, as far as where the story of Wano is going, there is just so many loose ends to tie up. Just thinking about it, it's going to take me a minute. If I were to dedicate a single minute to talking about each individual fight that is going on right now, we'd be here all day. But who's who is still fighting Jinbei? Nami, Usopp, and Tama are running away from Big Mom and the rest of them, while Big Mom is contending with Kid. Killer is still facing off against Basil Hawkins. Diaz Drake is still facing off against Scratchman Apu. Sanji is stuck with Zoro. Nekamamushi is on his way to find Pedro's Pedro. Pedro's Pedro is peppering the entire performance floor with candy arrows, while Chopper is facing off against Queen. King is nowhere to be seen. Jack is facing off against Inuarashi. Raizo is facing off against Fukuro Kuju. Orochi's body is still beheaded, though a lot of us think that he still has a head left, so he's just biding his time so he can escape. Brooke, Robin are facing off against Black Maria. Sasaki is unaccounted for, though last time we saw him, he was facing off against Frankie. Yamato is off on her own, just causing a distraction, being a decoy. Luffy has plummeted into the ocean, so we don't know what's going to happen to him. Cypher Pole Zero is in there just chilling. Marco is in the performance hall as well, but we don't know exactly what he's doing since we only saw a close-up of his face. There's just more than 10 things happening. Well over almost like 15 different things happening all at once. I don't even know how Oda's gonna close all of this up. Like how? I mean, Ulti's down for the count, so we don't need to worry about her. Page 1 is down for the count, so we don't need to worry about her. Kanjuro is out of the picture, so we don't need to worry about him. Kiku is potentially dead. Ashura Doji is potentially dead. Kaido is... Forgot Kaido. Oh, I didn't forget him. He's the main attraction of this whole thing. And Kaido literally just landing right behind Kanjuro's death and bringing his Kanabo down on Kinemon, potentially just straight up killing him, because it's a bad sign when a swordsman's sword gets broken and then a chapter ends. Like, Kinemon's swords are broken. He can't fight with them no more. And that's just the big the big takeaway is that the Kaido has landed next to the person he's trying to kill and has potentially taken out Kinemon permanently, destroying his swords in the process. And all this is happening as Onigashima now enters into the mainland of Wano. There's just so much going on in this arc right now. So many loose ends to tie up. And every time we see a fight, here's the thing. Every time we see a chapter that does not end with one fight being ended, such as like one of the Tobiropo being beaten potentially, that just extends the story even more, because that means they're going to have to dedicate more panels to showing that person fighting that person, which will extend this arc even more. So the longer we go without seeing another member of the Tobiropo being defeated, therefore freeing up one loose end for this whole Wano arc, that is just going to prolong the arc even more in order to continue tying up that loose end. I really hope Oda knows what he's doing. I hope so as well. This is a lot. And I'm just reading it. Can you imagine trying to write all of this and have it all make sense? Not only that, but drawing it too? I'm just some dude in a chair in a suit reading this. And it's a lot to take in. Can you imagine the thought process of Oda trying to make all of this make sense, be concise, and then still drive the narrative? Tie up all these loose ends? Make sure there's proper character development? Make sure that characters who are going to die properly? And still have everything continue forward? I'm so glad. I am so glad that I am not a writer. I am so glad that I don't draw pictures to do a story. I am so glad that I don't have to put up with anything that Oda is doing. I commend him for doing all this for over 20 years. Having to tie up loose ends and make things make sense for the very next chapter? That just sounds like a lot of work. And I do not want to be in Oda's shoes. I commend him, but I do not want to be in his shoes. Because that's a lot of work. Just talking about it just sounds so exhausting. And it's no wonder Oda takes as many breaks as he does. Because think about it. He has to sit at wherever he sits at in his house. Or wherever he goes in order to do everything related to One Piece. He has to think about the very next bit of dialogue that will make sense so that the next piece of dialogue does not contradict what the previous piece of dialogue said, then have it so that the next conversation in the next panel continues moving the story forward if a fight's going on, and then it cuts to another conversation going on to make sure that it doesn't detract from the previous panel that you've seen. I'm just mouthing off these things. This is a lot. And Oda has been doing this for years. This is why I commend Oda for continuously doing this. But just thinking about all that is going on right now. So is Wano making Marineford look cute now? Yes! Because there was less to think about during Marineford. Marineford, it was just a straight up war of Whitebeard versus the Marines. That was it. Sure, there were some pieces here and there, but they didn't detract from the fact that the whole overarching story was a massive war between a Yonko and the world government. Here in Wano, you got prophecies, you got CP0, you got Joy Boy being thrown out there, you got the concept of Conquerors Hockey being added on to attacks now, you got Kaido having a son who actually turns out to be his daughter, masquerading. You got Kaido wanting to take Robin so that they can use her to decipher the poneglyphs and look for all the real poneglyphs so they can find the One Piece. Then not only that, but elsewhere, we got the news clip of potentially of the news projecting the death of Sabo out there. You got the whole incident with the Reverie and the world and the revolutionaries declaring war on the Celestial Dragons. You got all that going on. You got Blackbeard going on. You got him doing extra. It's just, there is so much more than Marineford had going off just from the Wano arc itself. With Marineford, it was just centered around Marineford. There wasn't no extra that we had to worry about. Here in Wano, you got so many concepts being known, so many different stories and backstories. We literally had like over 10 or 15 chapters just dedicated to Odin's backstory. How he met with Whitebeard and Roger. There was just so much exposition in Wano compared to everything that has happened in Marineford. Just a little bit of exposition in Wano trumps the little bit of exposition that was in trumps almost all exposition that was in Marineford. So if you want to compare Marineford to Wano, Wano is absolutely stacked. And with Marineford, it was a straightforward fight. Marines fighting Whitebeard pirates. But here in Wano, you got the Beast Pirates, you got the Worst Generation, you got Samurai, you got the Minks. Everyone's just having a big old knockdown drag out against not one, but two Yonkos. Then you find out that D.S. Drake is a double agent. He's posing as a pirate, but he's actually still part of the Marines of a secret S.H.I.E.L.D. group. He's basically part of S.H.I.E.L.D. in One Piece, but it's called Sword. Gathering intel on all pirates and everything like that. Then not to mention, you got the 7 Warlords of the Sea having their titles revoked, and the Marines going after them. There is so much stuff happening with Wano and the stuff that's happening in the background compared to that was happening in Marineford. So yeah, in comparison, Marineford, with everything they had going on, is literally child's play compared to everything that has been revealed in Wano. So yeah, Oda was not kidding. Wano was gonna make Marineford look like child's play in comparison. He was not kidding. If you think about everything that's happened in the Wano arc compared to the Marineford arc, yeah, so much is going on right now. It is absolutely crazy, and the more I think about it, the more my head hurts. I'm starting to get less tea and more ice cube water now, but that's okay. But there's just so much going on. Wow, I'm actually going to hit 2 hours. Thank you guys for sticking around for so long. Facts, I want to see some outside of Wano stuff. Can't wait to see the state of the world once this arc is finished. D-Train, I cannot wait either. How long have we been in Wano? Hold on, let me actually find out. When did the Wano arc start? Wano arc. Wano Country arc. When did we get the first chapter? Hold on. Okay, so manga chapter 909 is when the Wano arc started. Okay, chapter One Piece, chapter 900, One Piece, chapter 909. When did this chapter come out? We started Wano on July 2018. Chapter 909, Seppuku. On the way to Wano country, Nekomamushi and his crew stop at the island that Whitebeard grew up on, referring to his home island. This chapter starts when the reverie is still taking place. Nekomamushi manages to find Marco. Marco has taken up residence in Whitebeard's homeland, which his crew now protects. With the threat of Edward Weevil likely coming to this country, Marco stays to protect it, but gives Nekomamushi a message to pass on to Luffy. Meanwhile, Zoro's group has made it to Wano country. Kinemon gave them orders to blend in, but Zoro is apprehended after being accused of cutting down some people at night. He is sentenced to commit seppuku as Sujigiro takes Shusui for himself, but Zoro cuts him down with the seppuku blade instead. This is chapter 909 is the first chapter of the Wano arc, and it dropped back in July 2nd, 2018. (2018 to 2019 is a year. 2019 to 2020 is 2 years. And July is in 2 months. Today is the last day of May, and we enter into June tomorrow. We have spent 2 years in Wano. nothing but Wano chapters for 2 straight years. So yeah, D-Train, I am going to be so happy to see something else other than Wano. Now, don't take what I'm saying as in I am tired of Wano, because I'm not. I love Wano. The whole arc. I love the entire Wano arc. But it's going to be nice to see the outside world outside of Wano. After 2 whole years, to see the outside world again, outside of Wano's borders. It's going to be nice. Just thinking about how much time I've spent doing reactions to Wano, but how long we've been in this entire arc. It's just like, good lord. It's been a while. Wait, almost 3 years with 105 chapters. How many breaks did this man take? And on top of everything you mentioned, Im-sama is still waiting in the shadows. Not only that, because the last time we saw the Gorosei and Im-sama was the Gorosei asking, which light needs to be snuffed out from the world forever. And that's the only thing that we see of Im talking to the Gorosei from that point on. So there's just so much ground to cover. And I feel like even with Wano being over with and all the stuff that's in Wano, once we're out of Wano, that's just gonna open up so much more. Because then, here's the thing. All the stuff that's happening is just centered around Wano. Small country. But then when we get out of Wano, we got the rest of the world. So there's a lot of ground to cover. Where do I think the story's going next? I ain't got a clue. I can't tell you. Because I don't know. Only Oda knows. Im-sama is the final arc stuff. No need to mention him already. Yeah, it's going to be a minute before Im gets brought up again. Because he feels like endgame boss territory. Or at least true ending boss territory. Blackbeard is the end boss. Im-sama is like the true ending end boss. But there's just so much to think about. Like, if I were to sit here and think about everything that needs to be tied up, not just in Wano, but in the entire story of One Piece as a whole, we're going to be here another hour. And I've already hit like 2 hours and 4 minutes going on with this stream already. So, what did I think of these chapters as a whole? Great. I thought they were great because they just cemented this one fact that everyone says concerning Kaido. If it's a one-on-one fight, people say, Kaido will win. And he has pretty much confirmed that through all of these chapters, especially sending Luffy's body just plummeting off of Onigashima. Even with Luffy having access to Conquerors Hockey in his attacks, it still wasn't enough to beat Kaido. That's how strong Kaido is. You got used to a new weapon, boy, but you used it crude and clumsily. What a waste of my time. So these chapters, these were Kaido's chapters. Even though we saw different instances of other people, Kaido pretty much brought an end to these chapters here in May. Can't wait for the act interlude. We got the Warlord situation, the Revolutionaries, Shanks making his move, and CP0 will probably inform the 5 elders about the Wano situation. Most likely, since they report to them directly. Oda needs to wrap this up soon. He did say he wants to finish One Piece in 5 years. That time limit ain't looking too good with the way things are going. Kaido is 1 floor below Big Mom. If they run into each other, they might team up for the cleanup. I don't know why, but I kind of want Wano to finish to then drop all the outside world info on us. See, when we get the outside world info, that's where things are going to be all like, wow, I didn't know this. So I can't wait to see the outside world as well. As much as I enjoy Wano, I can't wait to see the outside world and get back to the Straw Hats just sailing out on the sea again. Because the only reason why they're here, going up against Kaido right now, is because they met Momonosuke all the way back on Punk Hazard. And as D-Train says, Oda is an absolute mad lad. All this plot planning and foreshadowing since Punk Hazard. All this transpired because the Straw Hats went to Punk Hazard. And everything just popped off from there. So the only reason why the Straw Hats are here stuck in Wano taking on this big massive battle is because of Momonosuke and Kinemon back on Punk Hazard. So it's kind of like the hype ain't over kind of vibe after they beat Hokkaido. Exactly. Even though Wano will be over, so at some point, the hype does not die down because we still got the rest of the world of One Piece to look forward to. We still got Vegapunk to meet. We still got to find out if the children that were with Tashigi and Smoker made it to them alive. We still got the whole concept of what devil fruits actually are to deal with. We still got the whole revolutionary angles to deal with. We still got the whole thing about why there's a giant straw hat deep in the vaults of Marijois to deal with. We still got Blackbeard to deal with. We still got the 7 warlords taking on the Marines and becoming full-fledged pirates again to deal with. We got so much after Wano that it's no wonder that it's like, regardless of how much stuff is packed into Wano and then we get done with Wano, there is still years worth of One Piece stuff to get through. Can't wait till all these mystery characters get their time to shine and Law started this whole alliance. Yes! There's just so much about One Piece that it's going to take a minute for all of us to get through all of these arcs because there's just so much meat in there. Like, Wano is a full course meal for 700 people. But at some point, that meal's got to end. And then you got another main course for 700 people that comes up right behind it. So, I know I always wonder where we're going to go next in the next chapters, especially with us going into June. I can only say that it has to be something miraculous that saves Luffy from drowning. But the question is, even though he's going to be on the ground, is he going to use Bound Man to fly back up to Onigashima again? Because he can fly using Gear 4th. So, there's no other way that he can get up to Onigashima other than flying up there using Gear 4 Bounce Man. This is why One Piece is goated, such a good anime and manga. It really is, Karma. It really is. It's one of the greatest mangas out there. Back when I was growing up, when I was first introduced to One Piece, back when I lived in, I want to say Texas. When my family moved to Texas, I was just there enjoying. No, I think it was Louisville. Yeah, I believe it was Louisville, Kentucky, where I would just watch One Piece. Just watch One Piece over and over again. And mind you, it was the 4Kids dub version, but my love for One Piece comes from over 10 years of loving the series. But all these years, I never thought I would be invested in this story. Like, there's not very much that I could just sit up here and talk to you guys about on my channel with you guys concerning live streams and whatever, but like One Piece. I mean, recently I started to talk a lot more about My Hero Academia, but One Piece is something I could literally just talk all day about because it's had that much of an impact on me and how many years I've invested in reading its story. And it is absolutely amazing. This whole story is amazing. Never did I think in my years that I would enjoy a series about a guy who wants to be the king of the pirates, who can also just shape his body, who can also has a rubber body, and he has a sword. He has a first mate who uses 3 swords. He has a talking reindeer as a doctor. He has a cat burglar as a navigator. A cook that never uses his hands to fight and only kicks everybody around. A cowardly marksman. A lady who can literally sprout her limbs everywhere she wanted to. A talking skeleton. A big old hefty cyborg man. And now a fishman joining his crew, never did I think that I would be so invested in a story like that before. Ever. And I've read a lot of stories, I've seen a lot of animes, but never have I been so heavily invested in a story like One Piece before. And I'm grateful that I am able to share that level of love and enthusiasm with all of you. But back to the matter at hand, I don't know where we're going to go here. I can only speculate, because the narrative of where it ends does not give me much. It doesn't give me much to go on what I think the story's going to go to next. I honestly feel like here's my thing. We might cut away from Kaido bringing his Kanabo down and breaking Kinemon's swords and cut to something else, or we're going to continue from there and show Kaido going after Momonosuke and then cut to something else. That's how I feel about it. But overall, it's really up in the air where this story could potentially go. But ladies and gentlemen, that's where I'm going to bring it to a close today. Whew. I'm not tired. It's just that this was a lot of ground to cover, especially with responding to your chats and everything. It really was. I love doing these. I love doing these. I really do. I enjoy these. If I could do these all day with you guys, talk about different concepts, different characters, I would. Trust me, I would. I'd rather do this than anything else. I'd rather do this than anything else that would require me to go out anywhere else. I just love doing this so much. And you guys know me. I'm working towards making that a reality for you guys, and not only you, but for myself as well, because if you're good at something, never do it for free. But at the same time, do what you love, and this is it. But I just want to say, before I go, thank you, everyone. Not just for showing up today, but just enjoying what I do. I love doing this, whether it's me doing voices, me doing reactions, or just talking to you guys about series that we all know and love. I enjoy doing this immensely. This is where my heart and passion literally go to. I can't see myself doing anything else, because this is where all my energy really, really goes to. This and playing music at my church. These are the only two things where my energy will always be there to do this. And I can't think of any other better way to spend my life than to do what I absolutely love. Because I don't want to have any regrets about my life, about things that I haven't done or wish I could have done. I'm doing them right now, so I don't regret them later. So I just want to say thank you for you guys watching what I do. I can't thank you enough. I'm humbled by the support you show me on this channel. And you guys help me stay humble, because it's very easy for some people to get a big following and then they let that go to their heads. I want to say thank you for you guys keeping me humble and keeping my ego in check. Not to saying that I have one, but thank you for reminding me that I do this because I enjoy to do this. I don't do it for the subscriber count. I don't do it for any super chat donations. I don't do it for the likes. I don't do it for the comments. I do it because I love to do it, and you guys love for me to do it as well. My only purpose for this channel is to keep you entertained, and that is the only thing I seek out whenever I do anything on this channel. I know I can easily say that, and it's very easy for a person on the other side of your screen, whether you're looking at me through your phone or your computer, for me to say this. But I'm just going to take a page from Endeavor and just says, I'll let my actions speak for me. So I am truly honored to be a YouTuber. I thank my family for supporting me. Because, I'm going to be honest, this whole thing about me wanting to do YouTube full time, to some it may seem like it's a bit of an out there far-fetched dream, and it may seem extremely hard, and it is hard. But I'm thankful that I have a family who can look... I'm thankful that I have a family who can look at me and say, we support you, and that we're proud of you, and that they say, never stop going after my dreams. So, sorry. I'm thankful for my family always encouraging me, giving me words of wisdom, giving me better ways that I could run this channel for you guys. It's just, I'm happy. I really am happy. So, yeah, that's all I got. So with that being said, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed what you saw here today, then consider subscribing because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later, peoples.